Well, for the very first time ever in the history of United and Rio Betis, we are playing for the very first time in a competitive competition. The only time we played with Rio Betis was when we were preparing for the resumption of the Premier League as the World Cup was coming to an end. You remember we went for a warm winter training session or warm camp training session in Spain, and we played alongside Rio Betis and obviously Cadiz. Rio Betis happened to win against United by 1-0, but remember, most of our decent players were really away at the World Cup because most of our players, we took close to 15 players at the World Cup. It's the United versus Rio Betis match. If you're here onto the United Matters channel, Rokan David is my name, and we're here to talk about this beautiful game of football. Who is in, who is out, and obviously we are going to let you know how do we think Erik ten Hag is going to go ahead and really make these changes, who is going to be dropped after that annihilating and humbling defeat at Anfield of 7-0. Heads must roll. Heads must roll. Ten Hag has to really make calls. Some players have to be benched. Others have to be really taken off the field of play. And you know what he does? The first game we lost badly at Brentford, he made changes. Shaw never returned. Maguire never returned. Who else? He made good changes. He made changes. Close to 3-4 players never returned in that game. After the game of City, Sancho never returned. And I think that was the genesis of everything that really resulted into him being mentally perturbed. Then I think even Luke Shaw never returned. Malacia took the spot. So it has always been a norm for Erik ten Hag. Every time we lose horribly, he makes drastic changes. And obviously, overhauls are made by the manager, and we expect those to be made. Close to 4 or 6 players might not see themselves start for Manchester United on Thursday. Now, the only time United has met Rio Betis is when their managers met. You get? Remember those times when Pellegrini was the manager of Villarreal, and we played Villarreal 4 times, and all those were goalless draws. Those were in the groups of the Champions League when Alex Ferguson was still the manager. So it shows you that Rio Betis has not been a side that has been representing itself onto the European continent. That's it. And we've not gone ahead to find ourselves in positions of really playing a side like it. Even the same applies to Real Sociedad. I think we played it when they were for Europa League, and when they come to Old Trafford, they suffered a 4-1 defeat at Old Trafford. But that does not give us guarantee that's going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game because Betis over the weekend drew 0-0 with Real Madrid at their home. Though they are missing out on Nabil Fekir, their best player, who is out for the 2 legs, but that does not make it a decent side. It's a decent side, and you know those sides coming in from Spain, you know how good they are. They are sides that always come in through and have what we call good technical players. And if you don't really go well with them, you find yourselves annihilated and shocked. You know how it really became, or how it started at Real Sociedad. We got chances in the first half. Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and many others. We failed to score. As the game went into the 60th minute, guess what happens? The referee gives them a penalty, and obviously that's why we are playing these games. If we never found ourselves in a position of really losing to Sociedad at Old Trafford, we would have not been playing the double tie of Barcelona. The players would have been rested and would have gone to the final of the Carabao Cup fully fit, and that would have called for some 7 days of rest. Remember, we went to Barcelona in the midweek and played, and again we played a game. Playing Barcelona twice just burns out all your energy, and obviously you gas out. That's it. When you look at your Betis, they are placed. Can I show it on the screen? Let me show it. They are 5th in the La Liga. And obviously they've been conceding some good goals. 25 goals they've conceded. That is Rio Betis for you. But United is placed third in the Premier League. And you know what happened between us and Barcelona. The team leading the table in La Liga was knocked out by Manchester United. And it will be so much annoying if we find ourselves in a losing position to a side that is fifth, yet we knocked out a side that is leading the La Liga. And I believe it's really going to be a good game for us to get the revival after that humbling or demolition at Anfield. And you would love to play a team like Rio Betis next after that game of Liverpool. You wouldn't like to play a team like Barcelona after conceding 7. I think this is the best team to play to build our confidence on. Now, for United, who is really doubtful, Martial, doubtful though he might get in a shocker from the manager that is back. Let's wait for the press conference tomorrow. Then Casemiro is going to be assessed, meaning that he's doubtful, but we might see him really play. Donny van de Beek and Eriksson, those are really out, and they are long-time absentees. And you never know. They might return towards the end of April or the mid-April. Never know what God is going to bring for those two players. And now, as it stands, Sancho was back, was injured, was back in the starting 11, on the bench. He was one of the unused subs by Erik ten Hag in the game of Liverpool. And Garnacho came on through, so we are expecting some good changes to be made after United putting in a abysmal performance. And that fiasco at Anfield is really going to be shut down on Thursday in this fixture. But Erik ten Hag is really a very good manager. And one thing I would like to let you know is that we've never lost to a Spanish side in the opening leg, in the opening game, or the first leg of a game in the knockout stages on European football. That's it. On the first leg, when you are hosting at Old Trafford, is it hosting on Old Trafford? We've never lost, I think, for some good years. I think one leg I remember that we lost. Let me read it very well. They've been telling us that Manchester United have won just one of their last 7 knockout games in UEFA. Oh, that is bad. That is bad. But we are told Manchester United haven't lost the first leg of any of their last European knockout ties. 4 wins, 4 draws, when their first leg has been home in the UEFA Europa League knockout. Yeah, that's it. So, our last 4 ties in Europe, if at all it starts at home, it's hard for us to lose. So, we are really having a very good edge. Now, let's go to the most important bit of this, because I know you guys love to watch it, and it's the predicted starting 11 of United versus Rio Betis as we go into this game of football on Thursday to see whether a revival, a comeback is going to be expected into this beautiful game of football. Now, the system, it's supposed to be 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. I'm sorry. 4-2-3-1 is supposed to be the system that Antony is going to play. I'm sorry for that glitch, but obviously I think I've rectified it early enough. It's 4-2-3-1. Now, let's go to the pitch and see how these players are going to be planted by the manager and who is coming in through to do the needful into this beautiful game of football. For the goal, I think however much he conceded 7 and looked helpless and gave up, David De Gea is starting in goal. He is starting in goal. Unless otherwise the shocker comes in from the manager, but I believe he's going to start in goal. That is David De Gea. The first change I believe is going to be made. It's going to be made on the right back position. Not because that Dalot played very bad or had a very bad game, but because he played in the game of West Ham. He played in the game of he played in the game of Newcastle and the game of Liverpool. He played 90 minutes. So I think it's time for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to come in through and start at the right back, because for me, I love both, but I think Dalot is better. I know there is an argument of people that Dalot's dropped off. What do you expect from a player who's coming in from an injury? He just can't click on back to the form he was before he went to the World Cup. You know that very well. So Bissaka, to me, I expect him to play as a right back for Manchester United. And obviously, he's really going to start. For him, I'm sure, unless otherwise, the manager just doesn't want to start him. But I believe it's the right time to really start Bissaka. Left back, another huge change is going to be made with the performance of Luke Shaw, costing us close to 3 goals in that game of football that he would have stopped. I think is going to be dropped for Tyrell Malacia to come in through and really play against Rio Betis. So, sure, to me, he's not going to start. I think he's going to be benched. Having been forced to come on the field of play after a late fitness test was taken on him, I think he deserves a rest. Let him get ready for the game of Southampton on the weekend at Old Trafford. That's going to be a Sunday. Now, we go to the two central defenders. I believe Rafael Varane undergoing a late fitness test towards the game of Liverpool in the morning. I think the manager should play him reservingly and he is going to bench him. That's it. I think Lindelof is coming in through. Lindelof is going to come in through to play that side. We might even get some bad news of Harry Maguire to start, but I believe Bruno is going to be the captain of the team because the manager doesn't want to show the media that Bruno, in between him and Bruno, there is some blood that's going to hate to develop after it said that, or it was rumored in the media, yet there are falsehoods that Bruno Fernandes wanted to come off. You get? And that was Gary Neville. It has been proven that was a lie. Gary Neville has not even gotten the guts to apologize to Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, that is Lindelof coming in through, and I don't see Harry Maguire starting. I think Lindelof is coming in through to play into the central defense position of United. That is on the right side. The left side, I believe it's not Luke Shaw. It's going to be Lisandro Martinez. I think for every defender has had a bad day in office. That's it. And apart from being twisted and turned by Mohamed Salah, I think was it for the second goal or third goal? I think he had a decent first half, blocking those shots, but the second half really just went out of our way. And I think these players know what to do, and they are really so much motivated by the manager to get on the way they're supposed to be doing these things. Now, after that, the double pivot. Casemiro has to be assessed for the game of Rio Betis. To me, I think because he's the most important player in that club of Manchester United and no player can come next to him, I reckon that the manager will decide not to start Casemiro if at all he fails the fitness test or he fails the assessment from the physios of Manchester United. But if at all Casemiro passes that fitness test, trust me, he's going to be into the starting 11 of United, and I've plotted him there. That's it. I just believe he had one of his worst days on the field of play at Anfield, but he is really going to get back strong and dangerous and deadly, according to me. But if at all he fails to really pass that late assessment, then Scott McTominay will come in through, according to me. Scott McTominay will come in through to play that big game of football. Then, alongside who? In the double pivot, I think it's high time Ten Hag got to know that Freddie blows hot and cold. One of the things he has not done in his entire career at Manchester United is him being consistent for like 10 games. Even those games you've seen him thrive, all the first halves that's been played have been bismos. They've been bismos. You know that very well. So, to my understanding, I think it's Sabitzer this time around. It's Sabitzer. Having not started in the game of, he never played a minute in the game of Barcelona. He played 25 minutes in the game of Newcastle, the final. The game of West Ham, he played 85 minutes. The game of Liverpool played like 10-15 minutes. I believe in this game of football, you need a player like Sabitzer. This game should be for technically gifted players because we are facing a team that is really technically gifted. We need players that can easily express themselves when they are really having the best, especially in tight spaces and looking out for those pockets of spaces to place the line-breaking passes, release the likes of Rashford or Sancho or Antony, who are really going to be played. So I believe Freddie has to be dropped also. Freddie has to be dropped, and Sabitzer should be coming in to play alongside Scott McTominay or Casemiro. But I would love him to play alongside Casemiro into this game. So let's put it that Casemiro comes in through willingly by God's grace. Now let's go to the central attack midfielder. That position is undebatable. Amid is what people have said about him. I like Bruno. I know that is petulant. I know that very well. I've always called it out. Even when I think I'm the only one person who always calls out Bruno Fernandes for his bad acts, even when we win. I called him out in the game of Barcelona for the penalty he gives out to Barcelona. You get? Even in the game of Man City that we won 2-1 at Old Trafford, he had the chance to put United ahead in the 9th minute. Instead of really going for a cutback to feed in, is it Weghorst? To feed in, was it Marcus Rashford? Or Anton Martial? He went in for selfish effort. You get? Yet a cutback would have acted better. So on very many occasions, I've gone ahead to call out Bruno, though people have not been giving it an eye and attention. Do you know why? He has always come out and really scored a goal, all put into assists, all one, that keep the team winning. But this time around, he was so much exposed. But I believe it was the entire team that really dysfunctioned on the day. And I grant him the captaincy again to lead this team against Real Betis and to play into the central attack midfield position, because that's where he plays better. And I wouldn't like to see Bruno played wide again. You know, I hated to see him being played out of position. That's it. Though sometimes he comes out and thrives, crosses in those balls and we win. But I think we miss out a lot on Bruno when he's being played out of position. I think he should be played to that number 10 role or the central attacking midfield role that is Bruno Fernandes Borges, according to me. On the right side, I think another call is going to be made. Antony was the worst player on the field of play against Liverpool on Sunday. It beat my understanding. It's still beating my understanding till now why he played 90 minutes and the manager left him on the field of play. I see no way Antony is starting. And if at all he starts, I'm going to call out for favoritism this time around under Erik ten Hag. After showing favoritism for him at Anfield, yet would have been the first player to walk out of the field of play, I'm not coming here to not call it out again if at all he starts here. And that's why I believe it's going to be Jadon Sancho playing as a right attacking midfielder into this beautiful game of football of United versus Real Betis. They might be interchanging with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno goes wide right. Sancho cuts inside to really find ourselves in a position of really getting this game done and dusted according to the game of football. But I don't see Antony starting. Left attacking side of the midfield, I think he's getting back to his position, having been played as a center forward, and he looked like he was so much in a graveyard shift, though he got a chance and failed to really tap that ball to the back of the net. That is Marcus Rashford. I believe he's going to start on the left attacking side of the midfield, and I think he's one of those players that really put out a very sounding message that we need to play again, and the game is here 2 days from now for us to prove ourselves again that we are up and running and ready to go. Leading the line, I believe it's going to be Wout Weghorst, according to me. So that is my predicted starting 11. I believe the changes that are going to be made: Malacia for sure, Bissaka for Diego Dallo, Lindelof for Rafael Varane, Sabitzer for Fred, Sancho for Antony. So I'm seeing some 5 changes to be made by Manchester United in this beautiful game of football that is going to be orchestrated or showcased at the Old Trafford Stadium. That's it. So that is my predicted starting 11, and my prediction is 3-0. I think we are going to win 3-0. These players, I've seen them come back, and every time they've fallen, they've always gone ahead to capitalize onto the saying that the number of times you fall don't matter, but the number of you get up every time you fall down are the ones that matter. That's it. That's it. So as it stands, United have a chance to go through to the next round. And I would love us to push and push and push and push and push through, because the moment we are knocked out or losing, the moment we lose on Thursday, it's really going to be something horrific. After losing to Liverpool, we all come out and say we are back to those days of last season that saw these players drop tools like nothing. And this is the best game of all these players to exonerate themselves from that humiliating defeat against Liverpool, to show us that it was a blip that is not going to come again, and they have the chance to do this. Now, Google has some stats about us and Rio Betis that I need to flash onto your screen, and we go through to show you that United is having a very huge edge winning this beautiful game of football. We've been told that this is the first ever meeting between Manchester United and Real Betis in any competitions, with the Andean side, the 12th different Spanish side, the Reds have faced in major European competitions, the most from a single nation, meaning that we've faced a lot of teams from Spanish La Liga. And secondly, we've been told Rio Betis have lost 4 of their previous 6 European games against English opponents. They have 1 win and 1 draw. With this, their first such a game since November 2005, when they drew 0-0 with Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League. So it shows you that those are how many years? It's 18 years since they last played in a European competition. And how can a team that last played in a European competition 18 years back come at Old Trafford and boss us? That's why I'm calling in for 3-0 at Old Trafford, because we want to get back to our winning ways and set our run running again. Thirdly, Manchester United haven't lost the first leg of any of their last 8 European knockout ties. 4 wins, 4 draws when their first leg has been at home in the UEFA Europa League or in the UEFA Champions League. The Red Devils have lost just 1 of 11 matches, losing 3-2 against Marcelo Bielsa's Atletico Bilbao in 2012, just over 11 years ago to the day of the date the game against Rio Betis will be played. All right. Rio Betis have won just 1 of their 7 knockout matches in UEFA, and it shows you how bad they've been doing. And their manager also was at Man City. That's when he got a chance also to play against Manchester United again, and we are meeting again, not with Sir Alex Ferguson that he faced at Manchester United, but he's really here to face Erik ten Hag. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through your reactions to this match preview. A welcome in the comment section below. Rokan David is my name, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And guys, I'm calling it quits for now, and I think I'm returning in the next how many hours? I think I'm going to do a live at exactly 9:30. I'm going to schedule it 9:30. That is how many hours? 9:30. 9:38. It's 20. Oh, 21, 30 hours. I'm going to be live on this channel as we talk some transfer news. Victor Osimhen hitting out that he wants to come to Manchester United or the Premier League. We are going to relate and add dots and see whether he is the right man for the position of Manchester United. But that has been it right here, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Rokan David is my name. I'm out. You, my beautiful mates, have a beautiful evening, guys.